Joining us now, Mr. Clem from Barstool Sports, host of Podfathers. He is everything Mr. Mets, and a good friend of mine. So, Clem, how goes it?
I'm calling you right now from a therapy couch. I have a box of tissues next to me, telling my deepest, darkest thoughts. And the therapist keeps telling me, it's not your fault, Clem. You're a Mets fan. You're hopeless. Your life is over. And it's all because of a couple idiots that own the team and run it like a small market team in the middle of New York. So I'm doing great, Tyler. You said, do I want to come on and talk to Mets? There's nothing in the world I want to do less than talk about the Mets. But I love you. I love Rooster Teeth. And I said, let's talk some Mets here. Let me let my fire out of my soul right now.
I appreciate that, Clem. I'm glad to hear that you're doing okay. Let's start off with a question. So, Mets manager Mickey Callaway said after the game, quote, "We have got to do better than that." Do you agree with that?
Let's just try to keep it within 3 touchdowns. Let's make it 24-4, 19-4. I would have been happy with that. He also said the bright side of this is we used a position player in the 8th, so we saved some arms in the bullpen. Now that's a hell of a spin zone right there. You got to give him credit for that. Let's just start throwing Jose Reyes every goddamn game, so we could just save the entire bullpen for games where we're within double digits. And Jose Reyes is the best part too. The Mets said that they don't want to cut Jose Reyes because of what he meant to the franchise. But Mets fans are like, well, we fucking have hated this guy for 2 full seasons now, and he left us to go to the Marlins. The only reason he's even here is because he had a domestic abuse incident, and we're the only team that would take him. It's banana land, Tyler. Banana land that Jose Reyes is basically living a fantasy camp. They're like, you want to pitch? Pitch. You want to wear the Mr. Met uniform during the game? Do that. Do whatever you want, Jose. Have fun out there. It's crazy, Tyler. So, yeah. I guess it could have been better. It could have been better.
Just a little bit better. Yeah, it is bananas land. Yeah, and the Reyes pitch hitting Zim was like that was the best part of the whole game. I think you should pitch Reyes every night, at least for a little bit. I mean, ratings would go through the roof. I personally would tune in and actually watch Mets baseball if he was on the mound, but I don't know if there's anything that saves this organization at this point. If you had Clem control the team for a month, what are we doing? How do we fix the Mets?
Basically, you just have to get rid of the Wilpons. It's that simple. It's Scar at the top of Pride Rock. You remove Scar, Pride Rock, everything starts growing again. The rainstorms come, the fires go out, the hyenas are gone. The Wilpons are our issue. It's the Knicks for the summer. The Mets are the summer Knicks, and the Knicks are the winter Mets. You get rid of Dolan, everything will grow again. And it's same with the Mets. We got to get rid of the Wilpons. Everything underneath. You hear all the things about like the medical issues. A player gets a little dinged up. He ends up on the DL after like 2 weeks of kind of going back and forth, and then he's out for the season. And they say it kind of goes back to Jeff Wilpon. Everything starts with the Wilpons and ends with the Wilpons. So as long as you put a dumb idiot like me in their place who like can barely tie a shoe, it's going to be better because I'm not them. So that's all you need to do. Just have me in the front office, give me all the hot dogs that I can eat, and we'll be better. We won't be good, but we'll be better and not embarrassing every single time. I don't even know what rock bottom is anymore. Every time I think we hit rock bottom, we then have another rock bottom, and now Jose Reyes pitching in a 25-4 game hours after they didn't make a move at the deadline because they want to compete next year. I mean, what else can I say?
Well, I think it's good that you're in therapy because you'll learn there that, yeah, there is no such thing as rock bottom. You can always go deeper. But just looking kind of forward to people that actually get to enjoy the MLB season, which is the majority of other teams, this is going to be a fantastic race to the finish. This postseason is shaping up to be one of the all-time greats. And so looking ahead, we'll stick in your NL, just looking at the NL West right now where the Dodgers and Diamondbacks are neck and neck. You know, the Rockies are 2 games back. The Giants are 5 games back. Could it be Philly's year? Is it the Cubbies all the way? What is your prediction? What's your outlook for the NL going forward into the postseason?
I'm one of those guys. I think it's going to end up being Cubs Dodgers because those are 2 teams in big markets that act like they're in big market teams. They're just like the Red Sox and the Yankees. We're the only team that doesn't act like that, the Mets. So I think in the end, all the resources and the GMs and whatever the Cubs and the Dodgers have, it'll be them again in the NL. The only thing is, I will say, even year, Madison Bumgarner gets healthy, Giants do weird crap every single time. Like, them making the wild card is almost like better for them because they're such a dirty team that just like grinds it out. But I'm gonna say Cubs and Dodgers until further notice. Even in the NL East, like the Braves and the Phillies have been like the little baby ball clubs that have kind of started to rise early this year. It feels like you got to take your lumps. It's like such a cliche thing to say, but it always does feel like that's the case. And I just think it's going to be Cubs, Dodgers, and in the AL, I'm sorry, I got to root for the Red Sox because I hate the Yankees more than anything else on the earth, other than my own Mets. I hate the Mets number 1, Yankees number 2, so I got to root for the Red Sox. All the Yankees fans will then be sad.
I mean, the AL is going to be absolutely insane. Yeah, I agree with you with the NL that it's most likely Dodgers, Cubs, but yeah, even your bullshit, you never know with the Giants. But, I mean, the AL is so enticing to me when it's the Stros, it's the Sox, who might end up being the greatest MLB team ever. They're on pace to win, 112, 113 games right now. You got the Indians back in it. You got the Yanks back in it. Hell, the Mariners and the A's have a shot to make it to the postseason. It's going to be an all-timer.
This is the thing. The A's are intriguing because in the regular season, they're like the last team in the world you want to face. They do weird, crazy Billy Bean A's voodoo magic stuff. Once they make the playoffs, that's when they're going to come up short. But like in the regular season, that's like the last team you want. You know what I mean? It's the opposite when it hits the October. The month changes to October. I think the Yankees will end up getting at least to the wild card game because again, God has righted on New York, so the Mets are a dumpster fire now. So the Yankees are going to at least make the postseason in terms of the wild card. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And the Astros, yes, I mean, they've done it. They did it the right way. They absolutely, completely bottomed out, and now they're just reaping what they sow. And now they're. It's going to be them in Boston, I think, when push comes to shove in the ALC. It's like such a chalk thing to say, but Dodgers, Cubs, Astros, Red Sox, but I mean, it has to be that, right? Like, I just don't see these are superpowers we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't see it going any other way. But I mean, I think it's going to be that enticing to watch. But I mean, it's going to be the same teams basically. I think you're right with the Yankees getting the wild card game. Like, it's going to be the same teams. It's going to be Houston. It's going to be Boston. It's going to be Cleveland that are going to be vying to go in the AL. But yeah, it's got to be Stros Sox. And it's got to be Dodgers, Cubs. It just feels like it's that. I kind of hope it's not. I would like to see somebody else go up there. I think, Houston having their year with Hurricane Harvey, and you always have those great runs. It seems that people really rally around that momentum, that energy becomes a real thing. You go win a World Series. But, I mean, this year I'd like to see somebody else at the top of the mountain. I don't know. We'll find out. Want to ask you a few quick things before we go. Mike Scioscia might be out as Angels manager, or is he? I don't know. He used the word poppycock to say that reports of him stepping down after 19 years of manager are not true. That's an interesting one for me out there in LA, a team that, I mean, when Mike Scioscia came around in 2000, I guess it was, he turned the Angels around, and that became a team to fear. And now that you have the world's best player on your team and you're not even making a push, you're not even a contender year in and year out, what's the change that needs to be made in LA?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Scioscia is a tough one for me because my first memory as a Mets fan is ironically him hitting the home run in the '88 NLCS to help the Dodgers win, and I should have known then to get off the ship before I sank with it. But he also he was like the one manager that could always beat the Yankees in the playoffs in those 2000s, back in the American League. So, I mean, I think it's probably time to go for Scioscia. He's been there. I mean, where is he in terms of managers? He has to be like the longest tenured out of current managers. He has to be up there. So
yeah, when we're talking about all sports, it's Popovich and then him.
Jesus, but yeah. Hey, this might be coming from the top. Rob Manfred apparently doesn't know how to market Mike Trout, and that apparently falls on Mike Trout, which is crazy to me. So maybe Scioscia's like the fall guy for this all. It's ridiculous. That's Major League Baseball for you. They let the Wilpons own the Mets in New York. I always go back to the Mets. I have so much hate in my heart right now. And then it's up to someone else. It's up to Mike Trout to market himself in $1 billion organization.
That's the stupidest thing. Yeah, that's the thing that it always makes me, and we talked about this before, it's the most frustrating thing with Major League Baseball. They do not market their stars. They do a terrible job of marketing their stars. And for even the casual sports fans, you could rattle off NBA players or at least know who they are, or football players. How is it on the best player in the world to market himself? That's your job as an organization, is to make that happen.
And then it's like the opposite when a guy is getting all the wrong attention. Like, I wish he just, went about his business. That's exactly what Mike Trout's doing, and he's doing. I've a little humble brag here. I've had Mike Trout as my keeper league since he was a rookie. Every morning you wake up, it's like a run, a home run, an RBI, and or a stolen base is going to appear in the box score every morning. He's passing guys in career war, that are Hall of Famers. Jackie Robinson, he just passed. The guy is on another level, and it's like it's on him to also market including like being the best player we'll probably ever see. That's all that's wrong with Major League Baseball right there. So see you later, Scioscia. He's been suffering from radiation poisoning ever since he joined that Springfield Isotopes ringer team in 1992. Get the hell out of my life, Mike. I hated you in '88, and I hate you now. I liked you when you ever beat the Yankees, though, so thanks for that.
Clem, good stuff as always, man. I appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you later. We'll see what happens with the Mets. I would like to see, maybe you do take that job, and if you're president, owner of the Mets, we could do a weekly call. I think it'd be great.
I think this is my therapy session. Talking to you, you're a guy who willingly says, I don't mind seeing the Astros lose here. You're a sick man. You're spoiled by your success already. It's crazy. Thanks for having me on, man. Love you guys.
All right, thanks, Clem. We'll see ya.